So on Sunday evening, I sat my backside down in my chair with a nice drink, and I thought I'm going to watch this E3 live stream for the first time ever because basically it was a no-brainer. There was a Big Brother on in the background, which my wife was quite happily sitting there, soaking herself into the dirges of society as I looked on and thought, wow, it's just porn, soft porn, and yeah, I like hard porn. I mean, yeah, forget about that. So I thought I'm going to lock myself away with my headphones on, and I'm just going to watch this E3 trailer because, E3 stream because basically I want to watch the Battlefield 1 trailer and the multiplayer trailer, and also I want to see some gameplay because that was what they kind of promised. Now, I was not disappointed, but before I go on about that, leading up to it, because I didn't know it was going to be right towards the end, but I should have known, I suppose. But basically, I was watching the stuff in between, which was sort of interesting. I mean, there was obviously Titanfall 2, which looks really good. I liked Titanfall, I did actually like Titanfall, but I don't know, it just kind of ran its course for me a little bit, and I got sort of fed up with it. But this looks really good. It looks, whatever they shown, which was very sort of short, and whatever they talked about, it looked interesting and got a lot of people excited. So, I'm kind of hyped up about that one. Also, there was Madden, NFL, American football. I haven't got a clue about anything about American football. I don't think I've even watched a game. If you said to me, name me one of the rules in American football, I'd say, I don't know. The first rule is you don't talk about it, and the second rule is you don't talk. Oh no, that's Fight Club. No, I don't know any of the rules. I haven't got a clue. Don't understand the NFL one little bit, but Madden looked really interesting, so I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. Might give that a go. Who knows? But the main one, the main events, those were the starters. This was the main course. Was obviously Battlefield 1. Now, the one thing I did like was, now I don't know these guys' names, but basically there was I'm assuming he's like the head developer or the executive whatever, sort of came on and said, okay everybody, let's talk about Battlefield 1. And in all honesty, and he spoke with complete honesty, and I really respected him for that, he turned around and he said, when they were thinking about doing the next Battlefield, he was approached with the idea for Battlefield 1, and he said, I wasn't bought into it, I just wasn't sold. It sounded like a concept that just completely wouldn't work, and I thought no. Then he said the developers went away, came up with another fresh idea, came back, and he was sort of maybe swinging towards it. And it was only until they went away, came back with a complete business plan and a whole sort of presentation, he said, yeah, I think we can make this work. So obviously all the time in development, with all the ideas and all the absolute, right down to the minor details that they put into this game, they produced us with what they shown us, looked like an absolutely fantastic game. And I did sort of have a feeling it would be good, but I didn't think it would have the sort of solid effect on the community as well as myself as it did, because on the right hand side of the stream there was a chat which was a little bit slow. It was hard to keep up. It just sort of refreshed itself every 25 minutes. Bravo on that. But in the chat people were like, oh my god, and the main sort of subject that people were discussing was, not even discussing, but stating, COD is dead. COD has not got a chance this year. Infinity Ward, Infinite Warfare, you have not got a chance in hell of matching up to this. And, there was even people in there saying, I'm a COD fanboy. I am a fan to the end. But this looks immense. I don't think I'll bother with Call of Duty this year. So, obviously, it had the effect that they were hoping. And I don't know, just everything right down to the minor details. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the gameplay itself. It looked exactly how you would want a World War I setting to look. Just mayhem, carnage, bodies just flying through the air. A situation completely out of your control and out of your hands. Just typical trench for trench sort of warfare, even though it wasn't really trenchy, it was just all out in the open. But if any veterans would have been watching that, I dare say they would have been in absolute floods of tears, because it would have given them horrible flashbacks to how it was, because it was that intense and that graphically detailed. It was just perfect. Everything from the environments being destructive, the grass, when the grass was getting shot, or the ground, it was kicking up dirt and dust, and buildings falling down were just completely changing the way the map played. And he sort of talked about this guy. He says, realistically, the way we wanted to approach this and what we wanted to do was we wanted to have it not like any other Battlefield where something falls down and collapses and it's just business as usual. We wanted the way the destruction and the weather and everything that changed throughout the game changed the way you would have to play your game. So no one game would be the same as the next game. And I think they sort of hit the nail on the head with that, because that's what you want. Sometimes when you're playing first-person shooters, you do feel as though it's sort of a bit samey. You know, my wife always sits watching me. Well, she doesn't sit watching me play this, but in the past when she's sort of peered over to me having a game, she's like, do you not get bored with this? You know, it's the same thing over and over again. So the fact that they've made it so that it changes literally every time you play, I think is really clever and innovative. And also as well, one of the things that I thought was genius was there was one point where I think they called them Goliaths. I thought they were called something else, but yeah, the great big blimps. There was one of those up in the sky which looked amazing, but as it got shot down, the sort of caster guy was saying, "Oh, here it comes down. Watch this now," and you could see it slowly descending in flames. And as it hit the ground and exploded, obviously it destroyed everything in its path and just left the carcass sitting there on top of the buildings and the people that it just destroyed, and stayed there. And I thought that was amazing, because obviously so many games you see vehicles explode and bodies lie on the floor and then they're just gone. You know, they give them so long and then they just disappear. And this was no, it was just stayed there, and obviously people had to work their way around that. Also the spawning as well. I thought the spawning was quite interesting. Normally one of the things that aggravates me, and sort of I find a lot of the time tapping my feet as I'm waiting for it to happen, is, you know, when you die by somebody and you obviously get to see very quickly who killed you and that's it, and you're sort of watching them for about 10 seconds, getting frustrated at the fact that you know he killed you and you want to get back in that battlefield, and you're getting bored of looking at him lying behind a box waiting for his next victim to come along. This sort of casts you back in the sky and gives you an aerial view of the battle that's going on around you, and I thought that was actually really cool, you know. So it almost gave you a little bit of viewing candy to the eyes, so you've got something to look at and hopefully pre-plan your next move before you've even dropped into the map. The guns, I mean, there wasn't a massive variety of guns, but they gave you a few tidbits, a few little bits and pieces, maybe one of each class, I don't know, but you could see a sniper rifle, you could see an assault rifle, you could see a submachine gun, and all the guns just look fun. You know, the typical recoil was there, so you've got to learn to use the gun correctly, understand the balance of it. And also one of the other fine little details I noticed was that, you know, the person who calls out, you normally have that voice saying, taking Alpha, taking this, taking that, we're losing this position, planting the bomb and stuff. It was actually a female voice, which I found quite weird at first, but it sort of grew on me after a bit. They picked up on the whole lack of phonetic alphabet system, so instead of taking Alpha, it was taking Apple, because obviously in those days it wasn't, sort of S for Sierra, it was S for sugar. So yeah, did you guys watch it? Do you feel as hyped as me, or what was your, if Battlefield 1 didn't tickle your fancy, what was your game that stood out for you and is making you really, really excited? Really, really, really excited. So excited that you're not going to be able to sleep every single night until you get your hands on it and waste your life. Thanks for watching, guys. Apocalypse done.